Nightline begins now with me, Liana Hassanel. The top stories. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim sworn in as new PM, renews Ant-Graft pledge. Also, market springs to new high following Anwar Ibrahim's appointment as new PM.
Saya, Anwar bin Ibrahim, setelah dilantik memegang jawatan seorang Perdana Menteri, dengan sesungguhnya bersumpah bahawa saya akan dengan jujur menunaikan kewajipan-kewajipan jawatan itu dengan segala daya upaya saya, bahawa saya akan menumpahkan taat setia yang sebenar kepada Malaysia dan akan memelihara, melindungi dan mempertahankan perlembagaannya.
In his maiden media conference, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim renewed his pledge to go all out in weeding out corruption in the country as soon as he's sworn in as the nation's 10th Prime Minister. That and putting Malaysia's economy on solid track. Speaking to newsmen in Sungai Long on Thursday night, Datuk Sri Anwar said that the partners in his federal government have common goals in serving the rakyat.
There was some core issues that we will never compromise. Issue of good governance, issue of anti-corruption drive, issue of judicial independence, and more importantly, the issue of the welfare of the ordinary rakyat, which includes the issue of cost of living, which I will have to address soon. I don't think there are much contradictions here, because normally manifestos are statement of intent, good intent, but the challenge is on the commitment to implement those, and this is tough. For example, corruption is so endemic. How do you then take measures to effectively stop this rot?
Datuk Sri Anwar also said a new federal budget will be tabled by the government in the new parliament session, possibly next year. The Prime Minister also revealed that he will be leading a new unity government comprising Pakatan Harapan, Barisan Nasional and Gabungan Parti Sarawak (GPS) as the largest coalitions. Datuk Sri Anwar also said 2 deputy prime ministers from the Bornean states and Peninsular Malaysia will be considered.
Jawatan timbalan Perdana Menteri itu oleh kerana Perdana Menteri itu dari PH, biasa timbalan Perdana Menteri itu dari komponen kuat yang lain. Mana setakat ini Barisan Nasional dan juga kepada Sabah atau Sarawak, dan komponen terkuat Sabah Sarawak adalah GPS. Jadi itu yang kita berikan pertimbangan.
At the same time, Datuk Sri Anwar said he is prepared to welcome other coalitions to cooperate in the unity government, including leaders from Perikatan Nasional (PN).
Saya menganjurkan supaya Perikatan Nasional memberikan pertimbangan apakah mereka bersedia untuk mendukung kerajaan yang sekarang ini sudah kuat dan stabil untuk mengangkat martabat dan darjat rakyat dan negara ini.
In extending the olive branch to PN, Datuk Sri Anwar said he is ready to work with the coalition, even though it had questioned his legitimacy as Prime Minister and PH's majority in forming the federal government. He said this was despite the discouraging comments made by former Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, who is PN chairman. Earlier on Thursday, the PN chief doubted Datuk Seri Anwar's legitimacy to hold the Prime Minister's post.
Apa buktinya? Saya fikir penting supaya nak mengelakkan keraguan atau menimbulkan keresahan, ketidakpuasan hati, bukan? You semua pemedia pun nak tahu kan?
Right now, of course, Tan Sri Muhyiddin have thrown a challenge to test our strength, which he does not need to do so because I'm not Prime Minister like him who avoided that. No, I in fact have asked the PH to propose a vote of confidence on the first day of Parliament. Okay, but we are committed to a spirit of unity government, which means we are open to discussions for those who want to participate in that process.
Datuk Seri Anwar also expressed gratitude for having been appointed Prime Minister, as it has seen a change that has awaited the people of Malaysia.
After all the years and decades of trials and tribulations, he has granted that opportunity for us, and for me in particular, to lead this nation. Of course, I have to express my profound appreciation to the Agong and the Malay rulers. It is very heartening to see the Malay rulers achieving a consensus very fast indeed to endorse Anwar as the Prime Minister. Of course, I must express my full gratitude, appreciation, love and affection to Azizah and the family, followed by reformists, friends, including from the DAP and Amanah Keadilan, for their steadfastness, fighting, struggling together for decades to achieve this change.
Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah earlier named Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim as Prime Minister, ending days of uncertainty following the results of the November 19th election, which gave rise to a hung parliament. This followed a conference of the Malay rulers on Thursday morning to allow Al-Sultan Abdullah to choose an MP who, in his opinion, might hold the support of the majority in the Dewan Rakyat as Prime Minister, in accordance with Article 40 in bracket 2(1) and Article 43 in bracket 2(a) of the Federal Constitution. Datuk Seri Anwar and Perikatan Nasional Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin had been neck-to-neck in the race for support following the 15th general election, which saw no single coalition winning enough seats to form the government on its own. Days of negotiations and talks followed among the leaders of PH, PN and Barisan Nasional, with the focus on BN and its 30 MPs, amid conflicting statements by individual lawmakers and the coalition itself. In announcing the appointment of Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim as the nation's 10th Prime Minister, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong has this message to all parties. Those who won did not win everything, and those who lost did not lose everything. Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah said the fact is the people should not be burdened with endless political turmoil when the country is in need of a stable government to restore the economic landscape and national development. Comptroller of the Royal Household of Istana Negara, Datuk Seri Ahmad Fadil Shamsuddin, in a statement said, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong wants the MPs who have been chosen by the people to show solidarity by giving priority and the highest commitment, as well as their best service to the people. The statement was issued right after 8 state rulers spent about 2 hours at Istana Negara in a meeting with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Johor ruler Sultan Ibrahim Iskandar was the first to arrive at 9:40 a.m. and also the first to depart at 11:50 a.m. He was followed by Negeri Sembilan ruler Tuanku Muhriz Tuanku Munawir at 11:55 a.m. The remaining rulers started leaving Istana Negara from 12:40 p.m. onwards. beginning with Sultan of Kedah Al-Aminul Karim Sultan Salehuddin Almarhum Sultan Batli Shah, Selangor ruler Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah, Perak ruler Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, Terengganu Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin, Raja Muda of Perlis Tuanku Said Faizuddin Putra Ibni Tuanku Said Sirajuddin Putra Jamalulail, and finally Pahang region Tengku Hasan Al-Ibrahim Alam Shah, who left at around 1:10 p.m. Al-Sultan Abdullah had convened the meeting of the Conference of Rulers early Thursday to consult his fellow Malay rulers for a way out of the post-electoral stalemate. Meanwhile, leaders from Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei and Turkey were quick to congratulate Datuk Seri Anwar on his appointment as the 10th Prime Minister. Indonesian President Joko Widodo was the first head of state to give his best wishes to the Tambun MP.
Dihormati oleh rakyat Indonesia.
Terima kasih awak, dan saya mengharapkan hubungan biar dan perdagangan atau bisnes, investasi dan budaya, persahabatan insya-Allah dapat kita tingkatkan, dan beberapa isu yang nampak terbatas termasuk soal pekerja itu dapat diluruskan dengan cara yang bersih.
Also making a special congratulatory call was Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Jokowi and Erdogan have both pledged their support for Datuk Seri Anwar and said that they look forward to strengthening bilateral relations between the countries. Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong also congratulated Datuk Seri Anwar and the PH coalition for its strong performance in the general election. In a letter, Lee said he was looking forward to meeting Datuk Seri Anwar soon to discuss issues facing the two countries and how they can further advance bilateral relationship. Also congratulating Datuk Seri Anwar was foreign missions in the country, namely US Ambassador to Malaysia Brian D. McFeeters, Australia's High Commissioner to Malaysia Dr. Justin Lee, Japan's Ambassador to Malaysia Takahashi Katsuhiko, and Finland's Ambassador to Malaysia Sami Leino. With the stalemate over the formation of the government was being resolved, the markets were upbeat with Datuk Seri Anwar's appointment. Our business reporter Amanda Lopez is joining us. Hi Amanda, what are you hearing from the ground?
Yes, Liana, I was talking to a few leaders in the business community moments ago, and they are simply relieved and glad with the appointment of Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim as the 10th Prime Minister. Foreign investors and trade promotion agencies are also happy as Datuk Sri Anwar would focus on reforms that will be attractive to investors. Now, what they want to see is capable and approachable ministers who are open and willing to listen to these industry association leaders. The business community, especially the SMEs, which is the backbone of the economy, retailers want to work together with the new government on the road to economy recovery, reeling from the scars of the pandemic and inflationary pressures. Bear in mind that next year is not going to be a bed of roses, with IMF and World Bank expecting a global slowdown. On the market, Malaysian stocks had their biggest jump in over 2 years. Let's take a listen to our market analysts.
FBM KLCI rose sharply higher soon after the Yang Tuan Agong consented to the appointment of Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim as Malaysia's 10th Prime Minister. We believe the appointment of Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim should provide a much needed impetus. As such, we believe the FBM KLCI to trend higher within the range of 1,500 to 1,530 towards the weekend. After breaking the 1,470 and 1,500 resistance, we believe that the FBM KLCI to charge towards the 1,530 to 1,550 in the near future.
Well, that's the favourable market report for Thursday, the day the nation got its new Prime Minister. It looks like with the new PM being appointed, the focus now would be the cabinet lineup. That's it from me. Back to you, Liana.
Still to come, harsh statements, DAP issues apology to Sarawak. On Thursday made a public apology to Gabungan Parti Sarawak, GPS and the state government on his previous statements. The DAP chairman stressed that the nation's future is of utmost importance and hoped that they can join hands in opening a new chapter in the best interest of the people. The DAP leader was reported to have hurled several criticisms towards the Sarawak government when PH was in power after the 14th general election, GE14. And to express DAP's apology in person, Sarawak Premier and GPS chief Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg had earlier in the day received a courtesy call from DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke Sifuk at the former's residence in Kuching. In a later development, GPS said it accepted DAP's apology. In a statement, Tan Sri Abang Johari said his party accepted the apology with an open heart. He also confirmed receiving a courtesy call from the DAP Secretary General on Thursday afternoon. As for Sabah, the state government said it is committed to fully cooperate with the government led by Datuk Sri Anwar. In congratulating the 10th Prime Minister, Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Sri Haji Nur said he is confident that close cooperation can be established to achieve the various development aspects for the state. It include efforts to fulfill the pledges made in the Malaysia Agreement 1963 MA63 through discussions between the state government and the new federal government formed under the leadership of Datuk Sri Anwar. Datuk Sri Haji, who is also Gabungan Rakyat Sabah (GRS), is also confident of Datuk Sri Anwar's leadership in efforts towards economic recovery and stimulate the nation's economy. The 13-day campaign for the two by-elections got underway after the nomination process ended early Thursday. In Kedah, it is a six-cornered fight for the Padang Serai parliamentary seat. Returning Officer Dato' Abdul Bari Abdullah announced the list of the candidates at 10:45 a.m. after the nomination closed. The six candidates are Pakatan Harapan candidate Dr. Muhammad Sofi Raza, Datuk Sri Sivaraj from Barisan Nasional, Perikatan Nasional candidate Datuk Azman Nasruddin, and Hamzah Abdul Rahman from Pejuang. The other two contenders are Muhammad Bakri Hashim representing Warisan and independent candidate Srinanda Rao. Polling for the Padang Serai parliamentary seat for GE15 was postponed following the death of PH's incumbent candidate, 69-year-old M. Karupaya, on November 16, believed to be of a heart attack and health complications. The Election Commission EC has set December 7th as the polling day and December 3rd for early voting. In Pahang, it is a five-cornered contest for the Tioman State seat, comprising BN, PN, PH, Pejuang, and an independent candidate. Returning Officer Dato' Ahmad Nasim Muhammad Sidir announced this at 10:50 a.m. after the nomination process at Dewan Jubli Perak Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah closed at 10 a.m. BN's Datuk Sri Muhammad Johari Hussein is defending his seat, while PN candidate is represented by Nur Idayu Hashim. Also in the race are Osman A. Bakar from Pejuang, PH candidate Muhammad Fazli Muhammad Ramli, and independent candidate Sulaiman Bakar. Polling was postponed following the death of PN's candidate Mat Yunus Ramli, aged 61, who was named the PN candidate for the seat. Indonesia struggles to get aid to quake survivors as rescue continues. This and more after this short break. Authorities struggled on Thursday to get aid to thousands of people displaced by a deadly earthquake in Western Java, as landslides and mountainous terrain hampered the efforts of rescue teams. Survivors, including the elderly and small children, huddled inside military tents set up, while others queued to receive aid packets from volunteers. Local authorities said many had not received aid and nearly 5,000 volunteers were deployed to help distribute essentials. With dozens still missing, search efforts focused on Chijadil village, where about 30 people were thought to be buried under a landslide. In other news, a record wave of COVID-19 infections has sparked further restrictions for the people in China, after the Health Commission in Beijing on Thursday reported more than 31,000 new cases nationwide in the last 24 hours, the largest increase in cases since the chaos of the early days of the pandemic. China a day earlier recorded 31,527 cases, a figure that broke a record set on April 13th, when the commercial hub of Shanghai, home to 25 million people, was put under a 2-month lockdown. It comes as strict lockdowns continue to spark episodes of unrest. The rise saw China pursuing a strict zero COVID-19 strategy of lockdowns, daily mass testing, strict monitoring, contact tracing, and forced quarantine. Switzerland record narrow win over Cameroon. Actions from the World Cup when we return. World Cup. One of the tournament favourites, Uruguay, had to be satisfied with a share of points after they were held to a goalless draw by South Korea in the Group H opener on Thursday night. Both teams struggled to find the net despite creating several open chances. South Korea suffered the worst as they missed an open opportunity to strike first in the 33rd minute when Hwang Ui-jo blasted the ball off the bar following a quick counter-attack. The 0-0 scoreline remained to the final whistle, forcing both sides to settle for a point each. Earlier, Switzerland claimed a valuable 3 points after beating Cameroon 1-0 in their Group G opener on Thursday. Switzerland dominated the early stages of the first half but could not break down Cameroon, who slowly grew confidence and created the first 2 clear-cut chances. 3 minutes into the second half, Switzerland took the lead through Bril Mbolo. The Cameroon-born forward scored the winner as he finished off Jordan Shaqiri's low cross, sealing a narrow 1-0 win for Switzerland. Cameroon only have themselves to blame as they squandered several chances to salvage a point, with Brian Mbubo and Eric Maxim promoting missing golden opportunities. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim's decades-long political journey. From being imprisoned for almost a decade to being named one of the world's most influential individuals, Malaysia's 10th Prime Minister has come a tremendously long way to get to where he is today. And with that, I'm Lena Hassanel. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.